Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a great week and a great day. I am super excited about this stream. It is a long time coming. We were supposed to do this one last week, but I had some internet issues and that slowed me down. So everything has been taken care of and we are good to go now. So hopefully everything runs pretty smoothly this week. So really looking forward to it, and I think we're going to have a good time. The plan is, so last time we had a stream, I went through the encounter from the Red Box starter set just to kind of test out how it would be to run an encounter on a stream and get some feedback from the community and get the chats and see how we could run an encounter that way. And it actually worked pretty well. I was happy with everything that we got good feedback from everybody. Everyone seemed engaged and to enjoy it and help us make the decisions for the different characters. So based on that, I've decided to take it to the next level, and I want to run through the Keep on the Shadowfell adventure module, which is the first adventure that was released for D&D 4th edition. Came out about a month before the core rulebooks were released. So this is really the first glimpse of 4th edition that anybody got, because there was no public play testing for 4th edition. So I figured, hey, let's go through it as a group on the stream, and we'll see how it goes. So I'm looking forward to it. We'll have some hiccups along the way, but that is okay, because we will just figure it out and we'll try to make it better. So I'm kind of approaching this as though 4th edition was just released, and so along those lines, I'm not going to be using a lot of the all the updates and the fixes that have been made to 4th edition even during its run. We're going to be using the rules as they were laid out in the Keep on the Shadowfell and the Quick Start rules, and I will be using the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual and the Dungeon Master's Guide. So, but basically as they exist, whatever changes were made to those over the subsequent years, I'm not really including those, with one exception, and that is our wizard character is from the Quick Start rules and used the magic missile spell as it existed when 4th edition was released. That was later changed. The big change about it was that it went from requiring an attack roll to being once again an auto hit spell and dealing a little bit less damage. I went ahead and changed that one so that we will use the revised version of it that auto hits with the lower damage. Other than that, it's basically the rules as they existed at the time Keep on the Shadowfell and the core books were released. Hey Trinell, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you want the character sheets to follow along, you can get them from my website. The link is down in the description. There's actually two places you can get them. If you want to go to DriveThruRPG and download the Keep on the Shadowfell adventure module, it is free from DriveThruRPG. You can get the character sheets out of there. It includes the quick start rules with these pre-generated characters. The ones on my website are slightly modified. Other than the magic missile spell, all the stats are the same, but I put on the sheets the character name as well as the token that they're going to use, and then made the change to that magic missile spell. So if you go to my website, you can get those versions of it. Again, just free. Just go download them if you want to follow along. I may or may not be pulling up the character sheets as we play through the adventure. I tried pulling them up on the screen last time we did it, and it seemed to get a little bit cumbersome keeping track of switching back and forth between the character sheet and the encounter map. So we'll see how that goes here. So that is that's the plan for the adventure. And naturally these are going to take a little longer because we're going to be talking through a lot of stuff. I'm going to share everything. This isn't going to be like just playing the game. I'm going to share the adventure, and we'll talk about the DM side of things as well. And then we will play through the module, and I'll kind of lean on the chat to help guide me on the players and what you want the characters to do, I should say. I'll look for the chat for that. And then I will run the monsters, and we'll roll all the dice on the through Roll20, and hopefully those are all visible. I had a few issues with that the other day, but I think we should be good now. And we'll see how it goes. Let's see. I appreciate that, Trinell. Yeah, that's one of those. There's several free things that you can get from DriveThruRPG for 4th edition, so definitely keep your eye out for those, because free stuff is always nice. Covered the character sheets, and so one thing that we're going to do before we get started in that, and I hope everybody's interested in this, is that I did order some stuff from Noble Knight Games, and it arrived the other day. And so, as I tend to do when I order stuff, I try to save it for the live stream so that we can do a little bit of an unboxing and everybody can join me as I open up my stuff here. So hang on. Let me get it in position here, and I will flip over to my other screen, and we will just quickly open up this so we can kind of see what we got here before we jump into the adventure module. Give everybody a chance to go get those character sheets if you're going to do that through DriveThruRPG or through my website. Get those character sheets and get ready to go. See if that did it. This box is kind of taking up more room than I thought on my desk here, so hang on. Hopefully the audio is still okay. Okay, obligatory coupon. And let's see what we got. I'm going to go ahead and take everything out of the box so I can get the box out of the way first. Chuck that down there. And here we go. First one that I have is the player's optioned Heroes of Shadow book. This is one I've been wanting to do a page through on it, so I wanted to have the physical book of it. So it looks like it's in pretty good shape, as most of the ones are. Whenever I get something from DriveThruRPG, they are always in wonderful shape. And this one seems like another one that it's in like mint condition. I don't think it's actually ever been opened, so I'm looking forward to looking through that one. This one is one of those 160 page, I believe. Player's options, has some new races, some new subclasses, some magic items, all that sort of stuff. So I'm looking forward to going through that one, and I will do a page through video of that one at some point in the near future. Or well, it's on my schedule. I don't know about near future. We'll see. Pyramid of Shadow and look, keep on the Shadowfell, Thunderspire Labyrinth. These are the trifecta. This is the trilogy of adventures that was released. So keep on the Shadowfell. Obviously, we'll be playing tonight. And I didn't actually have a physical copy of it. I only had the PDFs. And then Thunderspire Labyrinth is the second stage of that adventure, and then Pyramid of Shadows is the third in that. These are all heroic tier. I think they get you the 7th to 10th level. Yeah, so it does get you all the way through the heroic tier. So I'm going to open up just one of them and have a look at it, since I didn't actually have this one. We'll take a peek. And I think the way that they said them is that they're connected together. You could play them as a story, but you could also just play them individually as well. So this is so here's the quick start rules. Very just like a 16 page, but it also includes the characters. So these are the pre-gen characters we're going to be using. A very very small book for that. This one looks in really good shape too. I mean, these maps have not been unfolded, it doesn't appear. So really good condition, as most of the stuff that I get from Noble Knight Games, I have never had a reason to complain. So I'm looking forward to going through those. Oh yeah, so the Heroes of Shadow, because it came out after Essentials was kind of the thing. I was thinking about that when I was going through Heroes of the Feywild recently, that it's post Essentials, and so there are some differences in the approach. The last book that I have, Forgotten Realms Player Guide. I have the campaign guide. I had gotten the campaign guide a while ago. Shortly after 5th edition was released, I went and picked up the campaign guide at a store, but never got the player's guide. So I figured I should go ahead and do that. And once again, this book does not appear to have ever been opened. So it is in very good condition. And so looking forward to going through that. I know some people complained about Forgotten Realms and what they did with the Spell Plague and such, but as with most things, I'm okay with it. I just kind of roll with it. That was the decision they made, and I think it's fine. I like the fact that it moved the story to a point where you weren't bound by all of that lore that you had to try to remember 30 years worth of lore at the time. You can kind of start over with and come up with your own ideas. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I heard of the fixes that someone made for Keep on the Shadowfell only because someone mentioned that either in the chat or I think it was in my Reddit post that I put out there. Someone had mentioned that there were some fixes to it. I'm not going to use those tonight. If somebody has a link to those and you want to send those over to me, then by all means do that. And I can look at it and maybe we'll use those going forward. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. So I didn't want to try to get bogged down in accounting for all of the changes that came along in the years that after it was released. But if there's some things that make sense, then absolutely we can try to incorporate some of that stuff. So I'm definitely open to that if anyone wants to send that over to me. So that is our unboxing, and that is and hopefully that bought some time for everybody to get the character sheets if you're wanting to follow along with everything. So yeah, let's do that. If you are enjoying this, please help out the algorithm by liking the video. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do that. And then again, I have all the affiliate links down in the description. So if you're looking for other ways you can help out the channel, using those links when you go and buy stuff that you were going to buy anyway would just help me out too. So just keep that in mind, and I would appreciate it. With that, let's go ahead and take a look at the characters. I want to, we looked at the characters last time because we used these same characters for the encounter when we ran it then. But just to make sure that we're covering it since we're starting this adventure, I want to go through the characters again and just kind of refresh everybody on what characters we have, and then we'll go from there. So let's have a look. Let me flip over to, hopefully this is the right one. There we go. So our first character that we have is Keldrek. Keldrek is our Dragonborn Paladin. He has Lay on Hands, which it says can be used once per day. It's interesting because it's an at-will power with special in parentheses, but then it says it can only be used once per day, which doesn't sound like an at-will power. The reason is because Lay on Hands, you can use it a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. In this case, he has a Wisdom modifier of 1, so he can actually only use it once per day. So despite being an at-will power, it kind of acts like a daily power. We decided in the last session that Keldrek would be an acid Dragonborn, so we'll just carry that forward, and I will continue with him. So his Dragon Breath will deal acid damage. Our next character is Lyra. We had some internally, we had some questions about whether that should be pronounced Lyra or Lyra. Lyra is the one that tends to roll off my tongue when I say the name. I say Lyra. So in the future, I might choose names that are easier for me to decide how to pronounce them. But we're going to go with Lyra. She has some pretty good class features. So Artful Dodger is a +3 bonus to armor class against opportunity attacks, so that can come in handy. The really cool one is First Strike. If at the start of an encounter, she actually has combat advantage against any creatures that have not gone yet in the initiative order. So that first round, if she rolls high on her initiative, that's going to really help because she can get combat advantage over the enemies in that first round. And her initiative is a +4, so that hopefully she does pretty well getting some high rolls there. She has the feat is a backstabber, which bumps up her sneak attack die to a D8. So when she does sneak attack, she does 2D8 instead of 2D6. I'm looking at some notes that I had from last time. We had when we played through it, we made sneak attacks when we actually shouldn't have because you can only do sneak attacks once per round. And we had a couple cases where she got some like opportunity attacks and we did the sneak attack damage when we shouldn't have. So I will try to be more attentive to that, and hopefully everybody keeps me honest on how I'm doing there. Alara is our wizard, and as I mentioned before, we were going to use the magic missile that came along later, so there will not be any auto hits, or excuse me, there will be auto hits. Deal a little less damage, but it will auto hit, so we'll go with that one. The daily powers are determined by the spell book, so she knows both acid arrow and sleep, but can only prepare one for a day, so we have to decide which of those spells we want her to prepare for this adventuring day. So if you have thoughts on that and you want to put that into the chat, please go ahead and do that. So the choices are for her daily spell for the day, she can either have acid arrow or sleep. So let me know in the chat which one you would prefer, and we'll go ahead and make a note of that one for this particular day of adventuring. She knows 2 cantrips, Ghost Sound, and oops, sorry, and I didn't flip over. See, that's why I don't flip over. That's why I have trouble with the having to keep up with the character sheets, because I tend to not flip over the character sheet when I'm supposed to. So, but there's Alara. She has 2 cantrips, Ghost Sound and Light, and she gets a +3 attack bonus when she uses her action point. And then our next character is Haldor. Haldor has a combat challenge that marks the target, and that target must then attack Haldor. So that can come in handy to draw the enemies away from others. Power attack feat allows them to sacrifice some accuracy in order to deal more damage. So naturally, that's going to come in handy as our fighter. So this is the muscle of the group. And then we have our new character. We didn't use this character last time. This one is new for starting this adventure. It is our cleric, our half-elf cleric. This is Therian. Has healer's lore that grants an additional +3 healing with the powers that have the healing keyword in them. A healing word can be used twice per encounter, and has 3 different channel divinity variants to choose from. So that will come in handy. We didn't have a healer last time. It kind of we had a little trouble with some stuff, but now we have a healer, so we should be good. All right, let me see. Let's see. I'm trying to get caught up on the chat. I was reading through all those things, and what else we got? So, oh, so that, well, okay, that's pretty cool that they extended the campaign. So, oh, acid. Yeah, so acid arrow would kind of complement the breath weapon that Keldrick has. So that would come in handy. Yeah. So. We'll see about there's still time to chime in on that. If anybody has thoughts about which spell we want Alara to have for the day, acid arrow or sleep. If anyone else wants to chime in, we can still consider that before it comes time to use it. So, oh, you're right, Grim Prism. Yes, I was reading that just the other day. So sneak attack did change. So when we were running it last time, that was an issue, is we were running it more often, but they did actually change that. So it was per turn. So you were able to use it in multiple times in a round. So, but if you took another turn, then you would be able to use it. So those are some of the nuances that can kind of trip us up sometimes. So we'll see how it goes. All right, that is our characters, and I've stalled enough with trying to give everybody a chance to download the characters, and if you want to follow along, so hopefully you have those, and let's go ahead and get into the adventure and start going through this. So let me pull it up. There we go. We got Keep on the Shadowfell. So my plan is to kind of go through this together, almost like as a dungeon master preparing for the adventure, and talk through some of the specifics of it. And then we'll kind of make our way to actually playing through the encounter. So this was the first adventure module that was released for 4th edition, came out a month before the core rules were released even. And because there was no public playtest, it was the first module that, first view of the 4th edition rules that we ever saw, because, or at least officially, because there was no previews or anything like that. So this one, this is kind of really what people saw the first time they were going to do 4th edition. It's set in the Nentervale. The Shadowfell is a keep inside the Nentervale, which is the setting for 4th edition. The backstory here is that there is the Shadowfell keep was actually built to protect a gateway that had been opened by the Prince Orcus many years ago, that was allowing some evil creatures to come through this gate and into the Nentervale and wreak havoc. So that gate was sealed, and with a magical seal to prevent them from coming through. The keep was built around it to protect it, but it is now falling into disrepair, and it is going to eventually collapse. And this is coinciding with a priest named Kalarel, who is who is trying to rally support basically to get this gate open and use these creatures to help him take over the world, as we seem to have a lot of people in the D&D space that are keen on rallying support so that they can take over the world, and Kal-El is no different. He's enlisted the aid of Balgron the Fat, a goblin that is helping lead his cultists and gather people that can follow him, and they have set up shop inside the keep on the Shadowfell, and then there's another goblin whose name is escaping me right now, that is basically leading the groups of kobolds who are essentially causing problems for the people in the Nentir Vale, especially around the town of Winterhaven, which is near the keep on the Shadowfell, so anyone that seems like they might be interfering with Kal-El's plans, these goblins and kobolds and such are trying to keep them at bay so that they can stall everything long enough for the seal on this gate to fail and all the evil creatures to come through, and then Kal-El can finally have his way. So that is essentially the synopsis of the story. So I suppose maybe I should have led that off with spoiler alert, but I think hopefully I prefaced it enough saying that we were going to be pretty transparent about everything we're doing here. But that is the story. We get our adventure summary, and this is pretty high level. So it's, we're going to basically be traveling to Winterhaven, going to do some role playing in Winterhaven. We're going to learn about what's going around the area, have to deal with some side quests from the people that are in Winterhaven, and slowly learn more and more about what's going on. And eventually we will make our way to the keep on the Shadowfell, and that turns into then a pretty cool dungeon crawl where we can go through and make our way to finally face off with Kal-El and Balgron the Fat, and other assorted creatures. So that's where we are here. To get started with the adventure, there's 3 hooks that they give us. I was looking through these, and I think the best one that I'm going to use as our hook is the second one, which is the Ruins of the Empire. The first one has a thing about mapping the the first one is the one that we're after. The Ruins of the Empire is the one that is where you have to map the keep. I think that's going to be a little hard for us to try to do as a quest, so we're probably best to avoid that one. The Missing Mentor is where we're basically heading to Winterhaven to meet up with a mentor called Duvan Stahl, and that's someone who trained one of the people in the party, and we are making our way into Winterhaven so that we can meet up with Duvan Stahl and connect with him, and then see what adventures he has in store for us. So that's the hook that we're going to use, just pretty basic to get us going. Yeah, the characters, 4th edition characters, I remember when 5th edition was released, they talked about how they were light on hit points, and so it wasn't uncommon for some of those people playing the Lost Mine of Phandelver for characters to be dying pretty early on because they were very fragile. But they're built tough in 4th edition. You do a lot of damage, but you have a lot of hit points. You got some decent armor class. So the game is made for that sort of style of play. The next section I'm going to kind of skip over because this is more just about setup and the quick start rules. So I didn't plan on going through all the quick start rules in this particular live stream. I've done other videos talking about some of those rules, so I'm just going to kind of skip through those and get to our encounter, because that's really what we're all here to do. So let me pull up my paper real quick. Hang on a second. I had put together a sheet to keep track of everything that we're doing here, so I want to have that in front of me. All right, so this is the first encounter that we're gonna run through, and this is what gets the party going. And as with a lot of starts for D&D adventures, it is you're traveling down the road and you get attacked. So the 2 most common ways that you probably start a D&D adventure is you're either in Irontooth. Thank you. That's the name of the goblin leader. Appreciate that. You're either sitting in a tavern and get a quest and you set off on a quest, or you're walking down the road and you get attacked and that leads to something. So in this case, you're walking down the road, you're heading to Winterhaven. The presumption is that the party already knows each other from prior adventures, and so they're working together already. They know each other. They're heading to Winterhaven to meet up with Duvan Stahl and see what he has in store for them. So Per the instructions that are given here, it says to place the player miniatures and their characters on the road within 2 squares of the eastern edge of the map, and then give them 2 rounds to move their characters. So the interesting thing is, if you look on this map, the idea is that the characters are supposed to be moving from right to left on this map, because the description of this says that they're traveling westward to Winterhaven, and it specifically says that they're traveling on this road from the right side to the left side. But based on the description of where you're supposed to put the characters, there's no room to put them. If the only place to place these characters would be smack dab in the middle of this ambush where all the other enemies are already there. So I put together the map a little differently, and we'll switch over to see the actual map that I put together. So I shifted the poster map that comes with Keep on the Shadowfell is much larger than the map that was shown in the encounter there. So I just shifted it over and put the characters off to the side, so that we can, that way there's a little bit of room for the characters to move before they step into the ambush. And so the intention is that you're supposed to get the hero tokens down there and then give all of the players a chance to to move their characters for a couple rounds before the ambush actually begins. So that's why my map here will look a little different from what is in the map in the encounter. And then we get to some box text. The wind in your face is cool and comfortable. The road beneath your feet is level. An occasional ancient cobblestone peeks through the dirt road, indicating decades of neglect. You notice footprints leading up and down the road, many of which were made by small clawed feet. So this is our setup where, our first hints that there's something, someone else has been traveling down this road. And so something worth of investigation, probably. The idea would be that the players are going to kind of look around, and maybe they notice that they look at those footprints and they're a little bit cautious of things. I'm going to go ahead and move the players down the road. So we'll kind of move them in turn, just as though they're walking down the street. They don't have a whole lot of reason to be suspicious. So we'll just kind of move them along, and as they would be just, chit-chatting down the street. And at some point there's an opportunity where they may spot something, because it indicates that the kobolds that are hiding are not necessarily being stealthy, and they are moving around between the rocks and stuff. So there's an opportunity where the players could try to spot them with a good perception check. So let's get them there, and I'm gonna actually, let's take a look at the characters here and see who can roll a maybe we can do a perception check. So it says the kobolds watch the road from the positions indicated on the map. The minions make themselves visible, darting from their hiding places. And when one or more of the PCs reach the place in the road between the 2 easternmost boulders, then the minions begin to attack. And that's when we roll initiative. But we're not going to, we wouldn't necessarily place the other monsters on the map yet. I do have them here, but if we were actually playing this in the table, I wouldn't put them here. I wanted to put them here just for the demonstration purposes. So we can do a nature check. That's some of the tricky stuff we got to figure out. Is there's a delay, so I'm trying to stall a little bit in between all the different things. But if we want to do nature check, then we can do that. So let's go ahead and who should do the nature check? Let's see who's so we got Keldrex a +1. It's not going to be Lyra. Oh, our wizard is clearly the one that's going to be. So if we want Alara to do a nature check on the footprints, then we can do that. Let's go ahead and do that. So she rolls a 1. She got a +6, so that's going to be a 7. Looking at the footprints, she can pretty much tell that they are definitely small footprints. She probably would, even with that, would recognize that they're likely kobold footprints. but that's about all she's going to know. And she, she's having a little trouble recalling too much information about kobolds on this day. Maybe it's a cold day and she's had a lot on her mind. So, so that's not gonna help her a whole lot. But she does notice that she does feel that they are kobolds. I think is probably about the extent of what she can recognize from these footprints. I guess the question, before we get into anything else, does anyone want any of the characters to move to a different position? The next thing that we're going to be doing is really rolling initiative, but there's an opportunity here for some of the characters to move. Now that we've spotted what appears to be kobold footprints, does any of the characters want to move off the road or somewhere else to maybe get a different angle on the things that are going on? So, I'll stall a little bit and we'll see if anybody has any thoughts on that one. And like I said, in the, playing this as a real game, I would not have even actually placed any of the tokens on the screen. I would have left them blank and let us do some investigation. But we're kind of doing a crossover between a demo and a play. So I felt it was better to put the tokens on there. But if there's different approaches to that, and in the future you prefer for me to actually reveal the monsters and approach this kind of almost more like a real game and do a little bit less talking about the encounter, that's fine too. I'm willing to do whatever. So we got the defender front and middle with the rogue close behind. So our defender is the paladin, who I believe we got in front, and then the rogue is going to be Lyra. So I got Keldrick is a little farther back. So let me see if I put Lyra there, and we kind of do, maybe we do like that, kind of box in, and then these two, Therian and Ilara, should stay back a little more. They would be the more fragile of the creatures. So okay, move them up, and yeah, the characters are a little small. I tried to make the characters' names as large as I could, but there's only so much I can do to fit on the screen. So Keldrick is our first character here. So hopefully that helps. This is Keldrick. He is our Dragonborn Paladin. I'll move him further up. And then Lyra is our Halfling Rogue. And so I'll put her right behind Keldrick. Haldor then is our Dwarf Fighter. And we'll put him here. He's the closest one, more likely to find one of these kobolds. Our half-elf cleric is Therian, is right back here. And then finally Ilara is our wizard, off bringing up the rear. All right, I'm going to go ahead and start rolling initiative, but if there's some other things we want to do before we actually start the initiative order, we can feel free to do that. So, but I'm going to go ahead and start the rolling so that we can get that taken care of. So I'm just going to go one by one through the characters. So first we will do Keldrick. Keldrick gets a 15, and Keldrick has a +0 to his initiative. So that makes him, I'll just write these down for now. So he's going to get a 15 for his initiative. Next, we're going to do Lyra. She gets a +4 on her initiative, which gives her a 22. Ilara has a +6. Oof, 25. Haldor has a +1. Gives him a 10. And then Therian has a +0. So straight roll with just a 3. So, well, that's fine. At the end of the round, our cleric can do all the healing, and that'll take care of that. So now let me roll for, I'll go ahead and roll for the, for our Kobold friends. So they are going to get, that's going to be good for them. Oh, that's better. So our Slinger is going to get just a... And then one more for the last group who are not actually in here just yet. So, but for future reference, I'll put them out there. So 6. All right, and let's go ahead and fill these out. Get our initiative order set. So Alara 25, Haldor 10, Keldrek 15, Lyra 22, Therian 3. These kobolds also got a 22. This kobold got a 5, and then our last kobold's got a 6. We do have a tie. I'm going to roll a d6 just to... so this will be... I'll roll two d6s. The first one will be for Lyra. She gets 2, and then this is for the kobolds. They get a 4. So the kobolds will go first, or they'll go before Lyra went. Put that in there. Sort that. And we are good to go. I'll move these over here so that they're, I think that'll be less likely for them to be in the way. All right, if there's any other moves that we want. So Therian's attacks only range 5 and close burst 3. So we'll need, so Therian's going to need to move a little bit closer or stay nearby his allies here as we go through this. So Alara is going first. Alara is our wizard here at the back. So I will go ahead and why don't I will try to, let me pull her up and we'll flip over to this view with the map so that we can see the map. There we go. I know that map is now even smaller than it was. So if you're having trouble Grim Prison seeing this on your phone before, you're going to struggle even more now. But this is Alara back here. And I think we decided to go with Acid Arrow as her daily spell, but she's got her at-will powers and as well as 2 encounter powers, 1 encounter power with Burning Hands, or she can do Acid Arrow. She also has a couple cantrips. I don't know how much light is going to help in this case, but that is what she has available to her. So I'll give a moment if anybody has any thoughts. Good question. Thank you, Sean. Sorry. I skipped over the whole perception thing. Good catch. So I'm gonna actually roll a perception check because I feel like we saw the footprints. We got a little closer, and according to the encounter, the minions are running around, and so they're kind of making noise. So we're going to go ahead and do I'm going to do a quick perception check to see who sees minions. So let me just do that real quick. See what everybody's got for perception. +1, +5, +1, +2, +3. So I just wanted to see what everybody has for it. So Keldrek, it's likely that he does not see anybody. Lyra definitely sees them, no question. No on Alara. No on Haldor and Therian as well. So despite Haldor being very close to this one, he does not actually see. His attention must be elsewhere. Lyra is aware of all of the kobolds, and Therian is aware of the kobolds. So not yet the orange or the red ones, just the blue ones. They are aware that they are out there. So, but it is currently Alara's turn, and since she does not actually see any kobolds, I think it's fair to say that she can hold her turn. So she's going to hold. And we will come back to her once she is aware that there are some kobolds to be had. And then the kobolds actually are going to go. So there will, no question, they will be aware of these kobolds after this. If we pull up the tactics for this, we can see that so the dragon shields and the slinger allow the minions to go first. Even if they have a higher initiative, they actually will refrain from taking any actions. The minions that are close enough to a PC will do a charge. And then minions that are not close enough to engage in melee hang back and throw their spears. So that is where we're at with the tactics. So that's what we'll use for our kobolds here. We'll go with number 1. So he is not going to be close enough to do a charge. Their speed is a 6. So that's going to get him, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. I don't believe he could go and do a charge because you'd have to be moving for, so if we move him here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, because he can't move into that square. So I think we're going to put him just here. So number 1 is going to move there, and he's going to throw his spear because he doesn't have enough movement to actually do a charge. So he's just going to come out and throw his spear, which is going to be a +4 versus armor class, and so that's what we'll go through. I think you have to have 2 squares of movement available in order to do the charge. So if he moves his full speed, that only leaves him here at this point, which is not in Keldrek's square. So I don't think he gets any movement in addition to the. I don't think the charge grants him any additional movement. So while I'm rolling for the sling attack, if somebody wants to correct me on that, they're welcome to it. But I don't believe that he can actually. I think his movement has to take him into the square where the target would be. So that is going to be a 19 + 4 is 23. So charge has its own movement. Okay, fair enough. So it says that you move your speed as part of the charge, and then you make a basic melee attack or a bull rush at the end of your move. So all right, I'll go with it. I'm not one to spend a ton of time arguing. So that's fine. We'll go with the same. I'll use the same roll. So his movement would have taken him there, and so if we're going to do a charge, then. So we're going to get a +1 bonus to the attack roll, which rolled a 19 for this attack. So we're pretty good anyway. So either way, but the damage now, gotcha. See, this is why we do this together. Yep. all good. So got a +4 plus for using the for that weapon. Well, now we're using a different weapon. Now we're using the dagger. It's actually a +5, and then a +1 bonus for the charge. So we've got a 26 versus Keldrek's armor class of 27. Sorry, that's hit points. Sorry, looking at the wrong sheet. His armor class is 20, so we're good. That is going to be a hit. So this kobold, eventually, after going through all that, has emerged from behind these rocks, charged down directly onto the road, and right into Keldrek's face with his dagger, and is going to do just 1d4 damage plus 3. So 5 points of damage on Keldrek, and definitely caught Keldrek a little bit off guard there, because Keldrek was not one of the ones who had seen any of these kobolds. So now it's pretty good chance that Keldrek sees the kobolds. And then kobold number 2 can actually do the same thing. So we're going to run out of room for all of them, but kobold number 2 actually will 1, 2, 3, 4. It can go there and can charge from down on this side. So we'll put kobold down number 2 down here. We'll do the same. Oops, sorry, we're doing. So that's where kobold number 2 is. We will do the same attack with that charge with the plus. That it looks a little crooked, but it comes back saying it's a 16. +1 is going to be 17, and then with the dagger is a +5. So 17 plus 5 is going to be 22. Keldrek's armor class, as we know, is a 20, and so that is going to hit Keldrek again. 1d4 plus 3 is going to be 6 points of damage. Keldrek is not going to come out very well at the end of this, because they are attacking the nearest one according to the tactics, and so we're going to be so Keldrek's not going to be very happy. Number 3 is hiding up here by this one, and they are going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, Keldrek did not know that these kobolds were even there, but he is definitely aware as with each with each moment that goes by. All right, another. This one will probably miss. 7 plus 1 is going to be 8, plus 5 is going to be 11. So that one is going to miss. So he lucked out there. Lyra is so this number 4. He's going to go after Lyra because she's the closest. So 1. Same deal, though. We'll do a charge. (15) plus 1, 16. And then 5 is going to be a 21. Lyra's armor class is a 16. So definitely going to hit on that one. But only 4 points of damage for Lyra. And then our last one, he definitely is going to go after Haldor. He is able to just barely get enough movement to do a charge as well. 11 plus 1 is 12, plus 5 is going to be 17. And Haldor's armor class is a 17, so that is also going to hit. And he's going to take quite a bit there. So that'll be 7 points of damage for Haldor. All right. So kobolds actually did pretty well in their first go around in here. But now it is Lyra's turn. And remember, she has combat advantage against, well, this doesn't help her. She has combat advantage against any creature that has not gone yet in the encounter. But all of these kobolds have gone, so that's not going to help her at all, and they're not really necessarily aware of the other ones that are out there yet. So Lyra's turn. We'll take a look at her if anyone wants to see what what to do. So this is Lyra right here. She's got a Kobold right in her face, so I would imagine that that's the one that she wants to do something with. Alara could jump in as well. That is an option if we want to do that. So this could be a good point for Alara to, we could do Magic Missile and at least deal with the one that's right in Lyra's face. Take care of that. So I'm good with that. So Magic Missile, now that I've got the revised version in it, is going to be auto hit and then 2 plus intelligence force damage, which in this case would be 6 force damage, but it's a minion, so it doesn't really make any difference. So she will, Alara is going to launch Magic Missile from her position onto number 4, and that is going to take care of number 4. So now Lyra doesn't have to worry about that, and it is now Lyra's turn still. So what do we want Lyra to do? She has... These are just minions, but she doesn't have one adjacent to her anymore, so she is free to move to a different position if she wants. It's going to be kind of hard for her to get into position for somewhere else, but she can move into a different position instead of staying here, or she could go and just go after one of these other minions, maybe help Keldrick out. She's got at will power. She's got Death Strike and Sly Flourish, but it's kind of a waste. I mean, she could just do a basic attack with the dagger. As long as she hits, she's going to do just fine. So, oh, that's a good point. So Haldor, because if Haldor tries to move, Haldor's over here, and if he tries to move, he's going to give up an opportunity attack even to a minion. So if we can move her, then that puts Haldor in a position where he can go over and help Keldrick. So why don't we go ahead and do that? I like that strategy. That's a good one. So we'll move her 1, 2, 3. This is difficult terrain. Oh, she doesn't have to go any further. She can just go right there. So she'll just go right there. And I think she's just going to do a basic attack with her dagger. So a dagger is going to be, she actually gets a +5 with her dagger. So let's see. Oh, wasted on a minion. But just for funsies, let's see. 1d4 +1, so it's going to be 5 damage that minion would get. That minion is honestly just wishing that they had stayed home for the day. So no contest there. All right, so Lyra does her part, and now Keldrick will be able to get some help from Haldor. So, but first, Keldrick gets to go. So what do we want Keldrick, our Dragonborn Paladin, to do? He's got Holy Strike, Valiant Strike, Radiant Smite, Paladin's Judgment, Dragon Breath. Oh, Dragon Breath is Blast 3. Interesting. So a Blast 3. A 3x3 square adjacent. Well, I don't think that could be any more perfect for Keldrick. So they managed to position themselves. Keldrick is right here, and these kobolds managed to position themselves perfectly for his Blast 3 breath weapon. So I think these kobolds are about to get a face full of acid. It is a +4 versus their reflex. So hopefully, so we have to do 3 attacks, and then we'll see how they do. So for number 1, that's not great. Oh, it is a minor action. Nice. So that's only going to be an 11, though, on that one. They got an armor class of 15, so unfortunately that one is no good. Oh, wait, it's versus reflex. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong. It's versus reflex. What's their reflex? 13. Still, so it still missed that one. And a +3. It will hit number 2, and then it will not hit. Man, you know, they rolled like really good for initiative, and now not so much when they actually need it. So the only one that actually is taking any damage is number 1, and so he's getting the acid breath, which is going to be 1d6. But it doesn't matter. So that one, sorry, that's a minion. So they're done. But there's still 2 more, but that's okay because it was a minor action. So Keldrick actually can still take a standard action. So the, yeah, so with his +3, he didn't hit, he only hit the 1 because the 1 had... Oh, it was a reflex. What do I have? Reflex is... Oh, did I do the math? Well, we'll just go with it. I think I did the math wrong on the 1. I thought he had a lower reflex, but that's okay. It's just a minion, so we'll just go with it. So he still has 2 minions because he definitely missed those. So because he had because those he rolled, he didn't even break 10 on those. So but he got it. He still has a standard action to do. So we've got simply a straight weapon attack on 1, or it can do a holy strike or valiant strike. Valiant strike sounds like we got to vote for. So as you bring your weapon to bear, the odds against you add to your attack. So you get a +7. And then +1 per enemy adjacent to you versus armor class. So that is pretty nice. So he's going to get +7, and there's two enemies adjacent. There's going to be a +9 versus their armor class. So we'll just presume that he's going to go after, I'll just go in order. So he's going to go after number 3. 13 +9 is going to be a 22. Their armor class on these is only 15, so that is definitely taking care of that one. All right, so he's making quick work of them, as you would expect from a minion. He's still got the number 3 there, and then that is going to bring us to Haldor. So now freeing up Haldor comes in handy, because now Keldrick was only able to deal with 2 of them, but Haldor, because Lyra took care of the one that was near Haldor, Haldor can now move over and take care of Keldrick. So we'll move Haldor into position over by number 3. So that puts him over here. And then it's just a question of how fancy we want to get with this. This is our last of the minions. How fancy we want to get with this attack. And we have... Haldor's got... Cleave would have come in handy when there are more of them, but there's only the 1 left. Reaping Strike gives a little... it's the same as a basic attack as far as the attack bonus that you get. So I'm thinking that just a basic attack with his maul with a +6 looks like that'll give him his best bonus. Yeah, so I think we'll just go with that. Basic attack with the maul. +6 is a 10. Man. Well, even if we had done Reaping... yeah. I didn't catch that, Sean. All right. Let's rewind. He's not doing a basic attack. He was doing Reaping Strike. That's what he was doing. He was doing it all along. I'm sure I heard him say that. Reaping Strike, it's the same attack bonus, so he still missed, but Reaping Strike has a deals 3 damage on a miss, so it doesn't matter. So that one is still, the glancing blow is enough to take down that minion, and those are done. And now, because those kobolds have all been taken care of, it is now time for the dragon shields to go. And they are fully invested in this encounter now. Let me just check the tactics. So the dragon shields, they just says that they wait. The dragon shields attempt to engage the PC's most capable melee combatants. So that would be Keldrek and Haldor standing right in the front there. So that's who they're going to go after. And then the slinger is going to stay behind cover as long as possible and use its sling on the nearest target that it can find. And it says that they all fight to the death. So we will go with that. So let me flip back over to the big map. All right, we've got two dragon shields down here hiding behind this rock. And so let's take a look. They have they've got short swords and they have dragon shield tactics, which means when they're adjacent, when an adjacent enemy shifts away, then they can move as well. And they get a +1 bonus to their attack rolls for every kobold ally that is adjacent to the target. So that can come in handy if they can get adjacent to the target. And they're going to be doing melee attacks. They don't actually even have a ranged weapon. So both of them are going to move adjacent to our friends here. So let me just double check their speed. They both have a speed of 6. Oops. And so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, he can't move past that square. So I need to move this square, this guy out of the way. I'm going to move that minion just so he's not in the way. But so this dragon shield is there, and he's going to have to go after Keldrek. So he can hold his action though, since they get a bonus when their allies are adjacent to the target. I think this dragon shield, this dragon shield here is going to hold his action until his buddy gets into position. So then the other one is going to move here. So now that they are both adjacent to Keldrek and can get their bonus that they get. So now that they're both in position, then the first one is going to take his action. He's going to use his short sword with an 11 plus 7, which is an 18 against Keldrek's armor class of 20. Not going to hit. Sorry, and then I forgot the bonus. The whole point of doing that. +1 bonus, that's still going to be just a 19. So that's not going to be enough to hit. But then the other one can do the same thing, and he gets a +1 on top of that. That will hit because it's going to get +1 bonus plus the normal bonus of +7. So that one will hit. And that's going to do 1d6 plus 3 damage. Five plus 3 is 8 on Keldrek. Keldrek is bloodied now. So he is not in a good position right now. And he is also marked. Yeah, so Keldrek is living into his role on here. So he is bloodied, only has 8 hit points left, and he is marked by Kobold number 2. And with that is that. Then it's the Kobold Slinger's turn. This does not bode well at all. The Kobold Slinger is going to try to stay in position and is going to probably just come out of cover, just because it's got to come out of cover in order to try to take a shot, but it's going to take a shot at Haldor. So it's going to use its fire shot and try to get at Haldor. So it's got a +6 versus armor class. Haldor's armor class is 17. So let's see how he does. Oh, nice. Okay. So no joy for our Kobold Slinger. And we're going to go to Therian. And boy, if Keldric is probably the happiest person right now, knowing that Therian is the one who goes next. So I think we're definitely going to want to do some healing here. So let's think about what Therian can do. So this is Therian back here. He's got a few options. So Lance of Faith isn't going to do it. I think, honestly, you could do Healing Strike if he wants to try to do some damage, but Healing Word, he can only use it once, but can allow them to spend a Healing Surge. We haven't actually used any action points yet. That might have come in handy for some of these, but I'm thinking Healing Word is probably the best thing because Keldric is really in bad shape. So when is Keldric's? I think by the time, well, he can do that, yeah, to recover some more. He definitely needs some healing right now, though, I think, because he's not going to make it to his turn if that's so he's going to need some healing in right now. Healing Word. Oh, minor action. You're right. Yep. Healing Strike. Here's my only concern about Healing Strike is that you have to make an attack and you only get to heal if you hit. It doesn't have it's not a reliable one. It doesn't do anything on a miss. Whereas Healing Word is a minor action and you just do it. So I feel like that's the better. Oh yeah, that's a minor action. Minor action, standard action. Jeez. Yep. Thank you. So Healing Word first, and then we can do Healing Strike and try to accomplish both. Yep. I like it. Good plan. So, and what's the range on these? Close 5, and strike he has to actually touch. So that's a melee. So he's going to have to get. All right. So first we'll do the Healing Word first. So he's going to do that. Target can spend a Healing Surge and regain an additional 1d6 hit points. So Keldric, Healing Surge value is 7, and then gets an additional 1d6. So we'll go ahead and roll the 1d6. 2, so 7 gets 9 hit points back. That's not bad. And is no longer bloodied, so that's at least something. So, and then Therian is going to have to move in order to do anything. So I think maybe Therian, in order to do the Healing Strike, then he's going to have to move here. He can move next to Keldric and attack, do the Healing Strike on the second Dragon Shield. So if we go, so Therian, so Healing Strike is going to be a +3 versus armor class against this Dragon Shield. So that's going to be a tall order. That's not an easy roll. These Dragon Shields are tough. Oh, but they're not that tough. Ah, nice. So 17 + 3 is a 20. The armor class on the Dragon Shield is an 18. So that is going to be a hit. So perfect. The damage, it's going to deal 2d8 plus 1 radiant damage. The target is going to be marked until the end of the next turn, and one ally within 5 squares can spend a healing surge. So that does everything. So 2d8 damage is nice. So let's get that done first. 2d8. Oh. That's just, that was bound to happen, right? You know, the armor class on that Kobold was 18, so he had to roll pretty good to beat that, and he managed to roll, but then double ones on the, oh, man. All right, so, and it's only a +1 on the radiant damage, so it's only three damage on that one. Yeah. Well, every little bit helps, right? Of course, unfortunately, Therian is now in range. So let me go ahead and mark the target. So that dragon shield is going to be marked, and then Keldrek gets to heal. Can spend a healing surge. So Keldrek will now spend another healing surge, which gives him another 7 hit points back. So Keldrek is actually doing pretty good right now. He's actually almost back up to full health. So we're in pretty good shape there. But that was the only healing strike that Therian has. So no more on that. All right, we are good. Now we get to Alara. So we've got a whole jumbled mess going on here in the middle of this encounter. We got Alara off in the back. So Lyra isn't engaged, but Keldrek still has 2 dragon shields adjacent to him. And Therian now is in the fray. So Alara here is off, and so she has to decide what she's going to do. She could certainly do Magic Missile. The unfortunate thing is that while it auto hits, it doesn't do a ton of damage. And so this is going to be, that'll be a long slog if she's going to do Magic Missile. So, yeah, so there's, I think we're going to do okay as far as the healing goes right now, because he's right back up at full health. So we're in pretty good shape there. But these, I'm not going to lie to you. These 2 dragon shields here, they're pretty tough. So they're going to need some attention, and the slinger is he's no slouch either. So, so what do we want Alara to do? Let me go ahead and bring Alara back up here and see what we have in play. So we decided that Acid Arrow was her daily power. She does have the encounter power Burning Hands that she hasn't used. And then she got 3 at wills: Magic Missile, Ray of Frost, Scorching Burst. Ray of Frost will do more damage. Scorching Burst also does more damage. But that's a burst. Just a burst 1, so that's fine. That's pretty much what she's got. So Lyra can come behind number 2 for combat advantage and a sneak attack. So let's take a look. Yeah, so Lyra, does she have enough movement for that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, she got plenty of movement to do that. So if we want Alara to hold, then we could. So if Alara is going to do who is going to have combat advantage? Would Alara still get combat advantage over number 2 if it's flanked by Keldrek and Lyra? I mean, it's going to be flanked by like everybody. So Acid Arrow versus Reflex. Okay. I am curious though if when it comes to the flanking, I think Acid Arrow is probably a good play here, because Acid Arrow is going to be a yeah, because you get 5 ongoing damage, secondary target. Yeah, that's I mean, it's a daily power, so naturally it's got some good stuff in it. Okay, so all right, so we're not talking about giving Alara an advantage here. This is more about just Lyra. So let's get Alara in position. All right, our range is 20. I think she's fine right where she is. +4 versus reflex. So her primary target is going to be number 2. So she'll go after number 2 first. And +4 versus reflex. Let's go for it. Yeah. All of that. It was going to be epic. It was going to really be amazing because she was going to deal this damage and all that, but not meant to be. All right, so I presume that we don't need Alara to move anywhere, and that was standard action, and it's gone. So that's one of my issues with some of those daily actions. It does do a miss. It does have a miss. Okay, so half the damage. So 2d8 plus 4. Okay, so it's not as bad, but no secondary attack. Ongoing 2 acid damage. All right, so let's give it a go. So, I don't know. Maybe she'll get lucky here. So 2d8 plus 4. All right, 13 plus 4 is going to be 18, but half of it, that's going to be 9 damage on number 2. All right, it could be worse. And then and then 2 per round after that. So that's something. It's not awful. So so all right, there we go. Well, she got something out of it. I was hoping there'd be more, but that's the way it goes. So all right, moving on. Oh, these guys are gone. I don't know. We need them on here anymore. So Lyra. So now Lyra can do her thing. So now she can get combat advantage. So we'll move her 2, 3, 4, 5. So she can get right there. Yeah, both of the acid attacks. Yeah, one of them hit and got awful damage, and then one of them missed and got decent damage, but it was only half. So yeah, okay. Well, that'll teach us. So all right, but Lyra, she's got combat advantage now, so she's going to get a +2 to her stuff. See, and once again, this is why I don't tend to not put up the character sheets, because I forget to take them down. So so she's got combat advantage now, and which will give her extra damage. So +2 to the attack, and what attack do we want to do? If we do Sly Flourish, so her attacks they don't do a ton of damage, but the sneak attack damage will make up for that. So Sly Flourish be a +8 versus armor class. So flanking, yeah, combat advantages to those are flanking. So someone who's off to the side, even though they're being flanked, if you're not one of the ones flanking it, then you're not going to get the combat advantage. So that makes sense. Positioning strike, that's what I was thinking. So +8 versus will. So what are we looking at for their will? Their will is a 13, which is better than their armor class. Okay, so that one definitely makes sense. Oops. So If we do positioning strike, it's a +8 versus will, then a 2d4 +4, and the sneak attack damage. So that would be pretty good, but we only got one shot at it. So that might be the way to go. I'm going for it. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to take a chance. This is going to be the one that's going to do it. Ready? Yeah. Okay. 15 +8. That's 23 versus our will, which was only 13. So we are good on that one. So for those keeping score at home, this is Lyra just attacked number 2. So this is positioning strike. It's going to do 2d4 +4 damage, and then the sneak attack damage that she gets is going to be 2d8 on top of that. So this is going to be interesting. So roll 2d4 plus 2d8. Yeah, lots of dice. I love it when you can roll lots of dice. So we get 4 and 2 and 4 and 2. So 6 and 6 is 12 plus 4. That's going to be 16 damage if my math is correct on number 2. So we're doing pretty good on number 2. Unfortunately, number 1 has not taken any damage yet. So 6 is going to be... Oh, wow. So he's down to... He is definitely not in good shape. So so number 2 is bloodied now. And he's really kind of worse than that. So that's pretty nice. So that's working out pretty well. Hang on. Sorry. Okay. So Lyra, she did her part, definitely. So number 2 is not looking very good. And he's also marked by Therian. So that's something else to keep in mind. So assuming he's marked by Therian. Sorry. Reading my notes. We're up to Keldrick. Oh, can slide the Kobold. Thank you. I don't know that he wants. I don't know. Think she wants to slide the Kobold, right? Because I don't think sliding it will. Will that do opportunity attacks? I thought if you were forced movement, that didn't do opportunity attacks. Oh, a shift is not going to, but yeah, bloodied is one of my favorite things. It's such a simple thing, but it helps. I love the stuff that you can, how it gives extra stuff if a character's bloodied and things. So it seems like a simple thing that they should have kept. I don't know why they got rid of that one. So I don't think the forced movement is going to give up an opportunity attack. And I don't believe that there's any reason for, other than, I don't think there's a reason for them to slide. So, yeah, you can't make one if the enemy shifts or teleports or is forced to move away by a pull, push, or a slide. So, yeah, so no go on the slide there. I don't think there's any benefit to sliding the creature. I think it's flanked right now. There's really not a better position to put it in or anything. So I think we'll just go with it. So we're at Keldrick, and honestly, at the risk of being optimistic, number 2 is the one that's the threat to Therian. But number 2 is also the one that's pretty low on its hit points right now. So Keldrick has an opportunity here to do something. So let's see, because this one is actually marked by Therian, and it is also bloodied. So let's have a look here. I'm going to flip over to this one. So our paladin, you know, what can we have him do? That could do Valiant Strike. These dragon shields have really high armor class, so it can be tricky. But he's got a pretty good bonus for his attacks, so that's pretty good. And he's got a chance with the damage that he can do to do something. We didn't use the Radiant Smite yet. So he hasn't used any of his attacks, I don't believe. So, oh, combat advantage too. Yeah. So +2, his attacks are pretty much everything that he can do is basically is going to be a +9 because he's got a +7 for his attack bonus. And then because he's flanking, it's going to be another +2 on top of that. So, it's going to be +9 versus armor class. That's pretty good. And so we pretty much we can do pretty much anything we want here. Probably don't want to waste like Paladin's Judgment, because this particular Dragon Shield is not in good shape. So I'd hate to have a lot of hit points going to waste or damage going to waste. So Radiant Strike. All right. Got some vote for that. So Radiant Strike. Or Radiant Smite, +7 versus armor class would do 2/8 damage, +5, which would be enough to do it. So, Valiant Strike is a +7. Oh, +1 per enemy adjacent to you. Yeah, so that would do a +9 also. With 1d8 would do 1d8 damage +4. And then, the combat. Oh yeah, that one. That's a good one. Okay. All right. I like that one. Valiant Strike +7 for the bonus, +2 for combat advantage, and then plus another 2 for having 2 allies or having 2 enemies adjacent to him. So that's pretty nice. So +11. That's the one we'll go with. So let me flip back over to this screen. So Keldrek is right here, and Keldrek is going to attack number 2 using Valiant Strike, which and he's got a +11 bonus to that one. 17 +11, 28. That absolutely destroys the armor class of this Dragon Shield. So we've got some potential here to do some good. Let's see what happens. Damage on this one is going to be 1d8 +4. Let's see what we get. 5 + 4 is 9, and woohoo! You know what? That is more hit points, more damage than he had hit points remaining. So we are awesome on that one. So number 2 is gone. That leaves us with just one of the Dragon Shields, but we put all of our attention on that one Dragon Shield, and the other one has not taken any damage. Neither has the Slinger. So that's pretty much where we're at. So Keldrek does have this one adjacent to him, so he can't actually move anywhere without doing an opportunity attack. It doesn't look like Valiant Strike allowed him to do anything. So I don't believe there's really anything else that Keldrek would want to do. Probably want to stay put and allow Lyra. Well, Lyra would end up giving an opportunity attack if she was to move too. So probably not much else with that one. So that one worked out really well. I liked that one. And I think that's a good example. I think, yeah, Trinell, that one, Valiant Strike is good. If you're surrounded by a bunch of enemies, that only works in your favor. So I like that. Oh, he could shift. That's right. There you go. Shift uses the move action, I presume. So do we want... So if he shifts... How much could you shift? If he can he shift 2 squares? Shift 1 square. So he can't shift into a position that would do flanking. Good Good call. So if he shifts over 1 and then she shifts 1, then they're both going to be flanking number 1 again. Yep. I like it. I like it. Tactics. This is why I love 4th edition, is that you get all these little things that you can do that are super cool. So yeah. So he's going to move. I'm going to go ahead and move this minion to the side just to get him out of the way. Keldrek is going to shift 1 square over there. So now Keldrek is in this position, and when we get to Lyra's turn, she will shift as well, and we will basically lather, rinse, repeat on our attack process here. So, all right, I think that's it for Keldrek, and now we are going to move to Haldor. Haldor is our dwarf fighter. Let's decide what we want Haldor to do. Yeah, Lyra does have a +3 versus opportunity attack, so she could. But now that we've got Keldrek in position, she only has to shift. So I think she'll be we're in good shape. So who is he? Who was marked as Keldrek? Keldrek was marked by. Keldrek is no longer marked because he just killed the person. He killed the kobold that was marking him. So I can get rid of that. So he's no longer marked and he's no longer bloodied. So I need to get rid of that too. So sorry, needed to update my my notes on him. So Keldrek is not marked anymore. We don't have anybody with anything because that's all expired now. So we're good. So Haldor, pretty basic stuff. Cleave we don't really have multiple enemies, so there's not going to be much there. Could do Reaping Strike again. That one did do 3 damage, so at least get something. We could try the Spinning Sweep, because that could knock the target prone if we want to try that one. And then Brute Strike. See, that's one of my favorites. So if you miss, you get to reuse it. Brute Strike, 6d6 damage. Oh, I feel like that's what I want to do. But oh, you want to go after the Slinger? Okay, well we could still do so. So let's see. So he's 1, 2. Yeah, no problem. He could charge. He could do a charge. He could just do a straight charge at the Slinger, or he could go up to the Slinger and do a Brute Strike and try to just take him down, because it's 6d6 damage +3. I feel like that would be a fun one to do. And the Brute Strike is nice because it doesn't, if you miss, you still have it. You don't lose it. So I really like those. So if he so then he would mark that target either way. So I mean, if we look at Brute Strike, he gets potential to just completely wipe out the Slinger. But even if he misses, he still gets to use it again, and that target is still going to be marked, and it's going to take a -2 penalty on any of its attacks. So that seems like a pretty good one to do. I do like the idea of Spinning Sweep where it knocks them prone. So that one is good too. But, well, Walter, the thing with this daily power is that if you miss, you get to use it again. So, I mean, it would use it up for the day, but if you miss, you still get to use, you don't lose it, which is something I like. So, so if he misses, we actually would still have it for the rest of the day. So I think we go with that. Yeah, we are going into a town next, so we're actually heading to Winterhaven, so it's likely that we would have a rest. So I'm going to go with Brute Strike. That's the one. I feel like rolling a lot of dice, and I'm going to be optimistic that he's going to be successful with this. So this is Haldor, and he's going to move over and go after the Slinger. And so we're going to put him right. Actually, we're going to put him right here. So that way he's kind of obscuring the line of sight. So let's do it. Brute Strike is going to be is going to be +6 versus armor class. So let's do it. All right. +6 versus armor class. Oh, nice. Yes. 18 +6, 24. Armor class of the slinger is actually just a 13. So no problem whatsoever on that one. And now we get the really fun stuff. Is the damage on this is a 6d6 +3 damage. And that sounds like a lot of fun. So rolling virtual dice is not as good as rolling real dice, but it's still pretty fun. So roll 6d6. Let's do it. See what we get. Whew. All right. 18. Oh, plus 66 plus, what was it? 3. 66 plus 3. The 18, that is 21 damage. So that slinger, he's still around, but not by much. He's definitely bloodied. He went from full health, and that took him down to where he's hanging on by a thread. So we're in good shape there. Honestly, I feel like this might be a good time to use the action point. This feels, I'm feeling Haldor maybe using an action point and getting another action and trying to finish off this slinger. So let me know what's everyone think about that. Because this target's going to be marked because they have because they did an attack. But yeah, I don't think there's any question. I think we got to do the action point. Sorry. Is there a lot of ads? I didn't set it to have any more than usual. So apologies if there's a lot of ads coming up. But I know sometimes YouTube gets crazy where it plays one and then 2 seconds later you get another one for some reason. I don't know why it does that. So all right. So we're gonna spend the action point. So let me just make a note that we spent his action point and then we get another action, and then yeah, Reaping Strike deals damage on a miss. That to me is the way to go. So +6 versus armor class. Let's roll it. 4 + 6 is 10. That is going to miss, but it doesn't matter because as luck would have it, it deals 3 points on a miss, and this kobold had exactly 3 hit points left. So it did it exactly what it was supposed to. So that was perfect. That couldn't have gone any better. Haldor, all on his own, just took out this kobold slinger without any help. So that is amazing. All right, so the kobold slinger is gone. And then we got the kobold dragon shield that is left is still out there. So let's see what he is going to do. He has lost his buddy, so he doesn't get his mob attack anymore because he doesn't have his friend out there. He actually can shift a square. So that might come in handy actually. So, but he just has a short sword attack. So he's going to get +7 versus armor class. He's going to go after Keldrick. Keldrick's armor class is a 20. So, but he gets a +7. Let's give it a go. Straight up short sword attack. 14 + 7 is going to be 21. So that is going to hit. And then it's going to be 1d6 + 3 damage, and Keldrick is going to be marked by him then. 4 + 3. It's going to be 7. Knocks him down to 17, and he's also going to be marked. But that's okay, because Keldrick's been marked before, and it didn't amount to anything, so he'll be all right. he's feeling pretty good about it. But the big thing is that he gets to shift a square. So that's one of the abilities that this Dragon Shield has, is that he can shift one square. So I should probably just get rid of these minions because they're just in the way. So I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to move these to get them out of the way, since they're just kind of confusing the issue here. I'll bring him back if for some reason we want to, but there we go. But this Dragon Shield, he's going to shift one square because he's pretty smart and can see that Lyra is going to try to get into a position to flank. And so he's going to shift his one square and try to move out of the way. So I think, let's see. So anything else that he's going to do? I think that is all that he is going to do. He's done his bit. And he's the last one left here. So, and then we're going to get to Therian. So we're back to our cleric, but we are not nearly in as dire straits as we were before. Keldric is at 17 hit points, so not quite bloodied. Lyra's at 21, Ilara 23, full health. Haldor's at 24. And Therian is also at full health with 26. So there's nobody in dire need of any healing, but Therian definitely has some things that he could do beyond healing. So clerics aren't all about healing in 4th edition. They have other things they can do too. So, oh, was that... yeah, it was a minor action, so they can, well, there's not, I don't think there's any real need for him to go any further than that. He only has a short sword. The most he could do is try to shift away, and then he could come back and charge, but I'm gonna make the judgment call that he's not gonna do that much strategizing. So his intelligence is actually just a +0. So he knew enough that he wanted to get away from Lyra, but not enough to do much more than that. So taking a look, Therian has already used Healing Strike, so he can't do that again. Nobody really needs healing, so now if he wanted to do something like Lance of Faith, because that would give a bonus to the next attack roll, so that would come in handy. And then Sacred Flame we could use again. Chooses to either get temporary hit points or... that's, I don't know if that really was going to come in handy here. I feel like Lance of Faith is the right way to go with this one. So if we, so Lance of Faith, because it's going to do 1d8 plus 3 damage if we hit. It's versus reflex as well. These reflexes are okay, but they're not spectacular. And one ally gets a +2 power bonus to their next attack roll. So that to me is, so Therian does some damage if it's successful, and can grant Lyra a bonus to her attack. Once she gets into position, so she would have, in addition to combat advantage, and the she'd get a bonus for doing the from Therian. So I feel like that's a good action that would build on this. So let's see. So he doesn't need to move. It's a range 5. He's already in position. So let's do it. Lance of Faith. 1d20. Back over here. So 13 plus 3 is going to be a 16 versus the reflex of the Dragon Shield, which is only a 13. So we are good. That is going to be a hit. And so 1d8 plus 3 radiant damage. Let's deal with that first. Roll 1d8. So 3 plus 3, that's going to be 6 radiant damage on this one. And it's going to do a +2 to an ally, which I think Lyra is... is the one to do that, since she's coming up next and she's going to be in the best position to do something with that. So I think we're good there. The only question is, so that was a standard action. Do we want Therian to move at all? I don't think he really needs to, because the Dragon Shields only have melee attacks, so he's really out of range, and by where he is, he could stay. I think what I'll do is I'll just move him. I'm going to move him over here just to make it a little bit more difficult to get to, but he's still in range to be able to do stuff if he needs to. So we'll just leave it at that. Then we get to Alara. Alara, kind of our forgotten wizard. She doesn't seem to have done a whole lot, I don't think, on this. But let's take a look. Let's see what she's got. So this Dragon Shield is still pretty healthy. That was the first damage that he took. Acid Arrow is gone. So we're looking at Magic Missile, Ray of Frost, or Scorching Burst. We got Magic Missile auto hits. Ray of Frost is versus Fortitude, and Scorching Burst is versus Reflex. Of those, Reflex is going to be the better option. So, and then I don't think really there's much else. We could do Burning Hands also versus Reflex. So that could work. So I feel like we're looking at Scorching Burst, or go ahead and do Burning Hands, get 2d6 damage. Try to do, are we after max damage, or do we not? You want to use an encounter power? I feel like let's just go for it. So Magic Missile doesn't do much damage, is all. That's, this version of Magic Missile, it auto hits, but it's only going to be, her intelligence modifier is a +4, so it's only going to do 6 damage. I mean, that's not insignificant, but it's not a ton either. So, but I'm okay with that if we want to go that route. I don't think she's got anything else that's going to add to anything. So I think Magic Missile, Scorching Burst, Burning Hands are really probably the best options for her. And I'm good with Magic Missile. That's the suggestion we've had, and that's the one I'll go with. So definitely in range, auto hit, 2+ intelligence modifier, force damage. So that's going to knock. Still not quite bloodied, but did it? 6 damage is nothing to shake a stick at. So that's pretty good. So we'll go with that. Moving on. Now we get to Lyra. So Lyra is the one that is in the best position to do something pretty amazing. So she is right here, and she can move and get into a flanking position around the Dragon Shield number 1. So I think clearly that is going to be her first thing that she's going to do, is she's going to move over and get into this position in order to be opposite Keldric. Now she has combat advantage, which is going to give her that's going to give her a +2. Then she also has a +2 that she got from I think it was Therian. So that gives her a +4 to her attack. And then if we take a look at what she's got, she has not used her daily power. I don't think. What did she use a positioning strike? I didn't. If she used positioning strike, I maybe have missed writing that down. I feel like she did, but she's got a +4, whatever she's going to do. So second chance. So I feel like Trick Strike, is if we just go all in, Trick Strike does 3d4 +4 damage. She could tie. We did use positioning strike. Okay. And then you can basically just keep sliding it. So it's more about the damage on that one. It's that she can do 3d4 damage, or we just keep it simple and go with Sly Flourish, 1d4 +7 damage, but we got a good bonus on our attack rolls. So that's kind of our options. And who's coming up next? So I didn't script that forward. Sorry about that. So Lyra is up, and then we got Keldrick and Haldor. So we've got a lot of muscle coming in. So I don't think this Dragon Shield is gonna be long for this world. So really, no matter what she does, I think we're gonna be in pretty good shape. So do we want to spend the daily power and just go for it? Hey, why not? Let's do it. You know, why keep it with the basic stuff? You know, let's do the good stuff. So Trick Strike through a series of feats and what is that? And lures. Sorry, the text is too small. Through a series of feats and lures, you maneuver, or feints and lures, you maneuver for the right where you want them. So, plus 8 versus armor class, but we get an extra 4 on top of that. So it's going to be a plus 12 versus the armor class of this Dragon Shield, which is an 18. So we get a plus 12 versus 18. So let's go ahead and roll that. We'll move it over here and we're going to roll. Six plus 12 is an 18. That was a lot closer than I wanted it to be. So the minimum that we could roll was going to be a 6, and that is exactly what we rolled. So, you know, hey, that's okay. That's what we needed, and that's what we got. A wizard is never late, and neither is a rogue. They get exactly what they need. So that is going to be a hit. 3d4 plus 4 damage plus the sneak attack. So that's going to be 2d8 on top of that. So we are going to be rolling a lot of dice right here. 3d4 plus 2d8. Oh, that's pretty good. So 19 damage plus 4. 19 plus 4 is going to be 23. And that's always how this works out. So not to give it away, but this Dragon Shield is now basically a minion, if that provides a good hint for the condition of this Dragon Shield. So, so we're looking at that. Anything else? And then until the end of the count, she could also slide it, but I don't think that we need to worry about that because who's up? We got Keldrick. Keldrick is actually next. So, yeah. So she didn't sneak attack this round, so she's still good. So we're all set. And now we're up to Keldrick. Keldrick is also going to get a +2 because he is in combat advantage with. So Keldrick has combat advantage over this Dragon Shield, so he's going to get a +2 bonus to his stuff. So we'll just take a peek at his sheet. I think we can keep this pretty simple. Probably just go ahead and do Valiant Strike. He only has. Well, he's got one enemy, so it's going to be +8, and then the +2 for combat advantage. So he's going to have a +10 to his attack, and then that's going to pretty much do it. So I think we'll just keep this one simple, and he's going to do Valiant Strike, and we'll just go with that. So rolling. Oh, 6 plus 7 plus 1 plus 2 is 6. 13 plus 1 is 14 is 16 against an armor class of 18. Oh, bum, bum, ba-dum. All right. Well, that didn't go as I was hoping. I thought for sure that he was going to finish him off, but and I don't see anything with a miss. We could do an action point. He has not spent his action point yet. So either we leave it to Haldor. I think we need to go ahead and let him do his action point because Haldor has already spent his action point. So I'd hate to pass up that and then we end up missing with Haldor and then we're kind of screwed. So I think Keldrick is going to give up his action point and he's going to do that again. So all right, well, we want to leave it to Haldor. I'm going with the action point. I think Haldor would probably do it, but this gives us 2 shots before it's the Dragon Shield's turn again. So let's do the action point. Needs to get an 8, at least an 8. 12, done. I'm going to roll the damage anyway, just because I like rolling damage. So 1d8 plus 4. And, oh, he just chopped this guy up into little bitty bits. So that is, that's a long sword that is doing nasty things to a dragon shield. And that has done in that dragon shield. So there we go. And with that, the party, it indicated in the encounter that I would have in some cases had the kobolds run away, but it indicates here that these kobolds will fight to the death. They know that torture awaits them if they allow foes to get by. So we lived into the tactics for this encounter, and all of our heroes survived. Keldrick, he did pretty good. He did what he was supposed to do. He was that front line. He got down to as low as 8 hit points, but we did some healing and everything worked out well. So I think we're pretty good shape. So, and with that, our heroes are now able to, really, we can loot the bodies and see if there's anything to be found on here. Let me see. Does it actually say? It does. So there's not a lot of treasure to be had. The PCs defeat the kobolds. They find the weapons noted with each kobold in the stat blocks. So there's basically a dagger, a sling, a spear, a javelin, and a short sword to be had. So, since they're heading into town, I would think that maybe they feel like they might be able to sell some of those. And at least get a little bit of coin for it. So they're pretty close to the town. So maybe they grab those and carry them with them into town and see what they can get for them. Maybe a couple gold for it. They're just mundane weapons, nothing special. The Kobold Slinger does have the, he never actually got to use his special, I think I take that back. I think he did use the one fire pot. And that missed, but he still has a fire pot and he still has a glue pot. So, probably want to take those as well, because you never, if that's something that could come in handy. It's something. So anyway, so we'll assume that they grabbed all that stuff, and they're also going to get 34 silver that they find scattered amongst these bodies. So 34 silver, a few mundane weapons, and then a couple of special shot for the sling. So those at least might raise the value of the sling if you were trying to sell it. Not much, but. And that is their treasure. So they defeated the kobolds, they collected the treasure, and now they're basically going to be on their way into town. So none the worse for wear, and they can go take a break. And next time we're going to see how it goes. This combat encounters obviously are going to be a little easier to run in this scenario because we're following some pretty heavy mechanical stuff. Next week's going to be a little more of a challenge because we are going to go into the town of Winterhaven, and we are going to need to do a little bit of exploration. So I'm going to, we'll move us over there now. This is where we're going to be going next time. And, so it's, we're going to be looking at all the locations and talking to some NPCs, figuring out what kind of side quests we have, and decide where we go from there. So next week will be a little more of a challenge. I'll have to do a little bit of discovery to see how we put that together, but I'm excited to give it a try because this is something I'm really interested in doing and seeing it through. So if there's some thoughts about how we can run some of these things, if you want to leave those in the comments, feel free to do so, because I would love any advice that you have to give me on this. But I think that went pretty well. I was excited about that, and it went as well as I hoped, and maybe even a little better. I appreciate all the input from everybody. The biggest challenge is obviously the delay. There's this 20-second delay between the time I say something and the time you guys hear it. So that causes some delays with some of the chat going back and forth. So I try to stall as much as I can, and I think it worked out fairly well. And we had some creative tactics that we used, which is what 4th edition is all about. So that was really good. So So next time we'll head into Winterhaven and see what awaits us there. We will get a long rest, or an extended rest, I should say, for 4th edition. So we will be taking care of that, and we'll be in good shape. So I hope everyone can join me again next week. I appreciate all the input that everybody had. It was really fun. I had a blast. So if you want to help out the channel, best thing you can do, please like the video. That is the thing that helps the YouTube algorithm, and it helps me the most. So please do that. Make sure you're subscribed. If you have some ideas, please leave those in the comments. If you want to help out in other ways, go down the description, check out some of those affiliate links. Those would help me out as well. So all that's good. But most of all, I'm just glad that you're here and you're participating and taking part in it, because it's a lot of fun, and it's all fun because of everyone that's out there and contributing and offering their thoughts. So thank you, everyone. Had a great time, and I look forward to doing it again next week. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.